If you live in the UK, you've likely heard of the term ISA. You might be wondering what it is, why it matters, how it applies to you, and why they couldn't come up with a more interesting name for it. So in this video, I wanted to break down 3 out of the 4 points I just mentioned and what exactly you need to do before the 5th of April. Before we begin, I'm Nischa. I'm a qualified accountant, and on this channel, we discuss all things personal finance and self-development. Let's start with what is an ISA. If you've got some money set aside in a money pot, you might decide you want to make that money grow. You want to make money from that money. You could do this by depositing those savings in a bank and earning interest on it, or by investing it in the stock market. The issue is that when you make money from these savings or these investments, in many cases, the taxman comes back and wants to take a piece of those earnings. That's where an ISA or an individual savings account comes in. Each year, you get an allowance for the money that you can put away to protect it from tax. That means all of the interest you earn on that money and all of the interest on interest that's compounded over decades is yours and will be yours tax-free. So how does this work? An ISA is not an investment. It's the account that protects your investment or protects your money. It's a wrapper, or let's call it a box for better visualization, where your money sits in to protect it from taxes. There are different types of ISAs, which all have different features and benefits inside, depending on what you want to achieve with your savings. And the most popular two are the stocks and shares ISA and the cash ISA. The amount of savings you can put away into this box to protect it from tax in any given tax year is £20,000. Note that this may change, and Jeremy Hunt has spoken about introducing British ISAs, but right now that £20,000 is still what applies. And you have the option to put that £20,000 in a single ISA, such as all in a stocks and shares ISA, or you can split it up and divide it into different types of ISAs. So for example, you could put 10,000 in a cash ISA and 10,000 in a stocks and shares ISA. But you must deposit it before the 5th of April for it to apply in that tax year, because if you don't, you lose that allowance and you can't claim it back in subsequent years. That allowance does not carry over. Once you've used up that year's allowance, you could then add another 20,000 on the 6th of April for the following tax year, and then another 20,000 in the year after that, and so on. And that is why the end of the tax year is really important, because if you max it out or if you put your money into these ISAs, it's possible to accumulate hundreds of thousands over years completely tax-free. Let's explain the different types of ISAs now, starting with a cash ISA. If you're using a standard savings account and if you have a lot of money in savings, then you might be paying tax on your savings if you're going over the personal allowance thresholds. What are those thresholds? If you're a basic rate taxpayer, and I'll leave a link below so you can understand where you fall, you can earn up to £1,000 in interest per year tax-free. Anything above that will be taxed. If you're a higher rate taxpayer, so you're in the 40% tax bracket, you can earn up to £500 in interest per year tax-free, and then you start paying tax on any additional interest you earn. And then if you're an additional rate taxpayer, you don't have a tax-free allowance at all, you can't earn anything tax-free, it's all taxed. And remember those numbers, so that £1,000 and that £500 is the interest you can earn. So you need a lot of savings to generate that amount in interest. And before 2022, very few people paid tax on savings interest because of the low interest rate environment at the time. But now rates have risen, and basic rate taxpayers need around £20,000 in normal savings to start paying tax on it. And higher rate taxpayers need around £10,000 to start incurring tax. So if you already pay tax on your savings, or you're near the limit where you will earn enough in interest to start paying tax on it, then a cash ISA will protect you from further tax. Everything you have within a cash ISA is protected. All the interest you earn year after year will be tax-free. So again, you could put £20,000 into a cash ISA this year, £20,000 into the next tax year, £20,000 in the tax year following that. You could have £60,000 in a cash ISA, and the interest will never be taxed. It will always be tax-free. And just like normal savings, cash ISAs also come in different types. You've got easy access, where you can withdraw whenever you want. You've got a fixed rate, where you can get a guaranteed rate, but you're supposed to lock that cash in for a set amount of time. The second type of ISA is a stocks and shares ISA, and that is a tax-free investment account. So let's say you invested £5,000 into JD Sports in 2009 and sold it in 2019. The return on that investment would have been over £147,000. If you invested through an ISA account, that full amount would have been yours to keep tax-free. You wouldn't have paid a single penny in taxes on the capital gains. In reality, the chances of picking a winning stock are low, but the point remains is that if you invest in something like the S&P 500 or a global market index fund and hold on to it for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, which based on past returns, you can expect a return of around 7 to 8% over the long run, that interest on interest will compound over time, and then the money you earn will be tax-free. This is why stocks and share ISAs are a really popular and effective way to build wealth, because historically the stock market has provided a higher return than if you had kept your money into a savings account. If you're not ready to start investing, or if you're ready to start investing but you don't want to invest everything immediately, you can also store your money as cash with an investment broker until you're ready. So this way you don't lose that £20,000 allowance for the year. I've moved a third of my emergency fund into my Trading 212 Stocks and Shares ISA, which currently provides a 5% interest on cash balances paid out daily. So firstly, my emergency fund gains interest even though I'm not actively investing it. Secondly, I still have quick access to my funds whenever I need it. And thirdly, it stops me from wasting my use it or lose it benefit for the year. Final type of ISA I wanted to mention is the lifetime ISA, or the LISA. Think of this as a retirement account, which is also particularly useful if you're looking to buy your first home in the next year or become a homeowner at some point in the future. So you can open up a lifetime ISA if you're aged between 18 and 39. And once it's open, it can remain open forever, but you must open the account within that age range. With a LISA, you can get a 25% bonus from the state on everything you put in up to £4,000. £4,000 is the maximum you can put in. If you max it out with that full £4,000 every year, then you receive an additional £1,000 per year from the state. If you put £1,000 in, you get £250 from the state, and that's before interest or investment growth. With a lifetime ISA, you can't withdraw the money unless you're using it to buy your first home, or unless you have reached retirement, so 60 years plus, or if there is a specific type of emergency. There are some conditions if you are using it to buy your first home, one being that the property must cost less than £450,000. Again, I'll link below so you can get the more details on what exactly those conditions are. You can use the money in the lifetime ISA as you want, either as cash or as investment. So a cash option might be the better choice if you're saving for your first home and you're planning to buy within the next couple of years, whereas a stocks and shares one may be a better option if you're saving for long-term, saving for retirement, and it allows you to ride out any dips in the stock market during that time. The downside, and this is a pretty big downside, making it almost an unreasonable option, in my opinion, is that if you withdraw money without buying a qualified home or before you turn 60, there's a penalty. So you pay 25% on the amount that you withdraw. So not only do you use that government bonus, you also get back less than you had originally put in. So that is something you want to consider before considering a lifetime ISA. There are other ISAs, Junior ISA, Innovative Finance ISA. If you want me to make a separate video going into detail on those as well, let me know. For now, I've just discussed the two most popular ones so that you know what to action before the 5th of April. If you take one thing away from this video, open up your stocks and shares ISA, even if you're not ready to invest, just to avoid losing this year's allowance. Remember, you can always take your money out again and put it back in later to catch up again. But if you lose that personal allowance for the year, it's gone. You can't claim it back. I provided links to investment platforms that you can use below. Thank you for watching, and see you next week.